Segue, to continue at once with the next musical selection or composition.
Segue, to make a transition directly from one section or theme to another.
To move smoothly and unhesitatingly from one state, situation, condition, or element to another.
Segue, to perform in the manner of the preceding section.
Segue, to make a transition from one thing to another smoothly and without interruption.
This is Segue with Dean Aldemaro Romero, a weekly program exploring the lives and work of the people of the College of Arts and Sciences at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
Hello everybody. Professor Ololade Afolabi was born in Nigeria. She obtained a bachelor's degree in English from Adukenle Eyesin University in Nigeria and a master's degree in English literature from the University of Ibadan, also in Nigeria. She is currently a Fulbright scholar in the Department of Foreign Languages and Literature at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Welcome to Segue, Professor Afolabi.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, excuse me if I didn't pronounce correctly, but Yoruba, which is your native language, is not an easy one to get in terms of pronunciation.
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's really easy to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, that's the subject you are teaching here at Southern University, Edwardsville.
That's the subject I'm taking.
Why do you become interested in teaching Yoruba in this country?
Yeah, I think Yoruba is my native language. It's a language I was brought up with, and it's something I've spoken since I was very much younger than this. So it's not that in fact, it's not really difficult for me to teach. And then I also see it as an avenue to be able to tell people that Yoruba language is beyond the coast of West Africa. So I'm happy to teach it in the United States.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. In fact, I mean, this is a language that is spoken by millions of people in Western Africa. I think it's between 30 and 35 million people.
35 million people.
Yeah. And my understanding is the main language spoken in Nigeria, but also some other countries like Benin. Also, there's even in Ghana, some people
Benin
speak.
Republic.
Yeah. Okay.
Ghana.
So what happened here, I guess, is there is the ethnic group, the Yoruba, okay? But because of the colonial powers in Africa, they divided the continent as they wish, and so they cut off people of the same ethnic group in different countries, in a country they put like 20 different ethnic groups.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, in fact, that was a problem for civil unrest in Africa during many years, particularly, remember, in the 60s.
Okay.
Did Nigeria suffer of that type of infights among different peoples?
Yeah, we do. We do because Nigeria, it's like a multicultural country, and then Yoruba language is just one of the three main languages spoken in Nigeria. So we still have the Hausa, we have the Igbo, and then we have this clash of culture coming from the Northerners and the Westerners. Okay, the Hausa language and the Yoruba language, you know, and Yoruba speakers do not occupy as much portion as the Hausa speakers occupy in Nigeria. So we always have those infights of cultures coming up.
Now, the main people in government, do they belong to a particular ethnic group, or it is a very, I would say, diverse group?
Yeah, it's a diversified group, yeah.
Okay. And they do that in order to avoid this kind of infighting?
Yeah, in order to avoid a kind of concentration on a particular region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of television, newspapers, the media in general, what is the main language used in those media?
Yeah, the language of communication in Nigeria is English language, because English language is the official language, is the national language, is the lingua franca. That's the language we use in school, mass media, government policies, and many more like that. So, and this is done because of the diversified ethnic group. So in order for all ethnic settings to be able to enjoy the best of all government policies, so we use English language. But we also have some newspapers that they just write plainly in Yoruba language. Yeah, we have some TV shows, television shows that are just in Yoruba language. We have some radio programs that are just in Yoruba language. But of course, these are only very prominent in the southwestern part of the country, where Yoruba speakers domicile.
So everybody in Nigeria, when they go to school from first grade on, they take classes in English.
Yeah, they take classes in English.
Okay, and then they take classes also in their original language, or they also take classes in the other languages of the country?
Yeah, they just tell them to take at least one language class. So they have a variety of like 3 to choose from: Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo language. Yeah, that's
Okay.
what they do.
Now, my understanding is with Yoruba language is it is a very diverse language in itself because it has many dialects.
Yeah, it has many, many dialects.
Okay. And we were talking before the show started about whether or not people with different dialects can understand each other. Can you tell to our audience what is the reality of that?
Yeah, the Yoruba language is a general language spoken in the southwestern part of Nigeria. However, it has some sub-dialects, like we have the Ijesha dialect, the Oyo dialect, we have Akure dialects, we have many more like that. So, but there's a slight connection among all these languages, so it makes it easy for different parts of the region to be able to understand one another. It's not like somebody is speaking French and the other person is speaking Spanish. No, it's still Yoruba language, but it's just that the dialects are different from one another. At the same time, the indigenes still get to understand one another very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the difference are probably more in kind of a pronunciation, accent type of thing? Or
In pronunciation and also in words. Yeah. We have some words like somebody from Ibadan might call this thing Bayo, and another person calls it pen. So we have differences, variants in words. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, one of the things I learned preparing for this show is that from the general region of Nigeria, that is from the area where they were the Yoruba ethnic groups, there was a lot of slave trade to the American continent. And most of the people who were taken from Africa and brought here actually went to the Caribbean.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see any connections in terms of culture, music, you name it, between the Yoruba ethnic groups and some of the practices that were influenced by Africans in the Caribbean?
Yeah, there is. Because before I came to SIUE, we were at University of Notre Dame for the Fulbright orientation, summer orientation. And I met a lady from Brazil who told me that she asked me if I know something called Yemoja. And I said, very well. Yemoja is the name of a goddess in Yoruba cosmology. And she said, wow, no, you can't tell me. I said, that's true. She said, there is Yemoja in Brazil. Then I told her that we have some parts of Yoruba speakers in Brazil. Due to this slave trade, colonization and everything. And so we have a lot of Yoruba speakers scattered all over the world. Even in the Caribbean music, we have Yoruba traces there.
Okay.
So when she was talking about Yemoja, I said, can you see now? Yoruba language is spoken in Brazil. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now you mentioned something about religions. But I was really fascinated learning that there are some Yoruba people who are Christians and also are Muslims, but still they have certain Yoruba religious practices.
Yeah.
How can you reconcile these traditional religious beliefs with more Middle Eastern originated religious beliefs?
ATR is the original Yoruba religion, and that is African traditional religion. We call it ATR. And I think Christianity just came about by the incursion of the white missionaries into Nigeria, and then there is no link between Christianity and ATR. There's no link between Christianity and Muslim religious practices, so they are just independent on their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I'm originally from Venezuela in South America, and I, especially in rural areas, particularly in areas where there was a high rate of immigrants from Africa from the slave trade, people call themselves Christians, particularly Catholics, but they do have certain type of religious practices that are not Christian whatsoever, but somehow they are able to manage the coexistence of both practices?
Well, there's no how do I put it? There's no connection.
Mm-hmm.
There's no connection between the traditional religion
Mm-hmm.
and the Christian religion.
Yeah.
I think people who just do that, there is something we say there's something they say in Yoruba culture that religion does not stop you from doing what your forefathers used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so some people just try to merge Christianity with the traditional religion,
Mm-hmm.
but in the real sense, there is no nexus that connects
Yeah.
it together. Yeah.
Okay. Also, in terms of food,
Mm-hmm.
we know that in Latin America and even in this country, in the United States, certain areas that have a heavy immigration from Africa, there was a cuisine that was influenced by what was brought from Africa. What kind of connections can you say that exists between the Yoruba ethnic and the way the kitchen is handled in America?
In America?
In the continental United States.
United
I mean, not
America.
in the United States, but the whole American continent.
Well, I don't really see any connection anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the kitchen in Africa is different from the kitchen in America.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the kitchen in Yoruba land is
Mm-hmm.
different from the one here in United States. The food we eat, the kind of food we eat, there is really no traces of it in the United States or taste of food.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's quite different.
Okay. Now, something else that I learned is in the Yoruba culture, ethnic group, there is a high proportion of twins
Yeah,
that are
very
born.
good.
And that has a number of implications because it has been linked to some certain type of foods that
Yeah.
are eaten
Yeah.
by the Yoruba ethnic group, and also has created some kind of cultural reverence
Yeah.
towards those people. Tell our audience about what twins means in the Yoruba culture.
In Yoruba culture, we call twins Ibeji. And Ibeji means two. That is a birth that comes by two. That's the meaning of Ibeji. And twins, any family where a twins is being born is regarded as sacred. And then most often, they just try to like worship them, not like real worship, but you give a kind of reverence to them because they are unusual being. They don't come all the time. It might just be one set in a family. Some family might not even have it for 2, 3, 4 generations. But any family where they have twins is always regarded as a reverenced family.
Yeah.
So twins is a very sacred thing in Yoruba cosmology. And then they believe that their destinies are tied together. They work together. If you offend one, it affects the other. And then the other might decide to fight for the one you offended. So they work together. Their destinies are tied together.
And I understand that there is a name for the first one that is born that is translated to something like the first one who tastes the world.
Good. That's Taiwo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I was amazed to see that about 10% of the birth in the Yoruba culture are twins, which is very high.
Yeah, very high.
Okay.
We have a lot of twins in Yoruba land, yeah. We
Yeah.
have a lot of them. And the first one is called Taiwo, meaning the one that tastes the word first. Now the second one is called Kehinde. It means the one that came last.
Okay.
Now the idea is this, that the Taiwo came first to come and taste the word and see if the word is sweet. He will beckon on Kehinde to come. And if the word is not sweet, Kehinde will never come. So it will just be one person.
I see.
That's just the idea.
Okay. The other thing that I found very interesting is about how people dress.
Yeah.
And can you describe to other audience that they cannot see images, of course, how do the people dress in the Yoruba culture?
The woman in Yoruba culture puts on iro and buba, while the man puts on buba and shoro. These are like the domicile dressing culture in Yoruba land. So that's the way we dress. And there's always this use of ashoke, very hard material, like a little bit of old made material anyway, but then is really rich in traditional fabrics. So that's what we usually wear for occasion, wedding ceremony, funeral ceremony, festive period, inaugurations. That's the way we dress, and it's really fashionable.
And is there a lot of color?
Yeah, there are different types of colors.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are different type of colors. We have what we call the Kampala, is a type of clothes we wear. We have the Ankara, is a type of clothes. We have so many types of Yoruba. We have Ashoke. Some people also call it Ofi. So that's also Yoruba dress. Yoruba style of dressing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's a very rich culture.
very
actually.
rich
Yeah.
and diverse.
How about the music?
Yeah, we have different type of music in Yoruba land. We have some that are purely traditional, and then some are just rendered in the palace, because in Yoruba land we give an high credence to kingship, royalty. So we have some songs that are just done in the palace. We have some that are done for wedding ceremonies. Yeah, we have some for different type of occasions. We have songs that fit into different occasions in Yoruba language. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you are teaching Yoruba in this country at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. How many students do you have in your classes?
I have 12 students now, currently taking Yoruba language.
When do you ask them why they chose to learn a language that is so remote for them? What did they tell you?
Some of them, my first day in class, some of them thought it was going to be a German class. Others thought it was going to be a Spanish class. And then I had just, I think, 8 or 9 students. So the first day in class, I tried to sensitize them. I told them that, okay, this is not going to be a German class, neither is it going to be a Spanish class, but it is called Yoruba class. And then Yoruba is just about the southwestern part of Nigeria and also some parts in Africa. And then I just tried to orientate them about what the language is about. I was surprised the next class, instead of 9, I thought they were going to drop because it was add and drop week. Yeah. But now they have increased. And so I have 12 students now.
Well, I think that tells you that they are really interesting.
They are really interesting.
And that you're a good teacher. Now, why did you become a teacher? Why do you like to teach?
Teaching is a career path that I have chosen for myself. When I was writing this application for the Fulbright program, I told there are certain things I put in the application process. Firstly, I was brought up by a father and a mother who are teachers. And then I found the spirit in them, the teaching spirit. They are able to teach very well, which I enjoy. My mother is a Yoruba teacher. So she teaches Yoruba very well. And then I love the teaching profession because it gives me a very good platform, avenue to be able to impart youngsters and then to know how to relate better to them, because I feel that the school environment is the biggest place where you can meet youth. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I like teaching profession. Apart from that, is an innate ability that I don't really need to just start acquiring, rather I just have to develop it. I know that I have the skills to teach. Yeah.
Now, more and more when people talk about learning a foreign language, they say you also need to learn about the culture.
Sure.
Is that something that you also teach in your classes?
Yeah, I mix the language with the culture. There are some classes we have to take, we just talk plainly about the language. I started from the alphabet and then talk about the consonants and the vowels, and then later I decided to teach them about the culture. So far we have gone about learning about the greeting acts, how to greet in Yoruba culture. And I remember that the first class, the one major thing I told my students was that you cannot learn Yoruba language without learning Yoruba culture, because they are both intertwined. Yeah, they go together, because Yoruba language, once you know the language, something tells you that you also have to know the culture, because in speaking the language you apply the culture. So we teach both together, and the syllabus for the semester covers everything.
Okay, and I think that probably makes also the class more enjoyable, because it's
more
not just learning about
language.
words.
And then I make the student to act They act it out. Like if I say this is that, then I call like 2 or 3 students outside. I give them a seat. They sit down and they okay, you do like this, do like this. Okay, you just acted the culture.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay. I see that you're speaking with great enthusiasm about teaching, and you explained that you come from a family where it's a teaching tradition.
Yeah.
Do you find the method of teaching in this country to be different from the way things are taught in Nigeria?
Yeah, I do.
What would be the major differences?
Is the visual aspect of the teaching. We also have something similar to that in Nigeria, but I discovered that here it is more pronounced that we have to make use of the projector, we have to make use of visual graphics so that the students will be able to comprehend faster what they are learning. So we also have that in Nigeria, but it's not as prominent as it is in the United States. So we really have a lot of differences. Differences with the percentage of teachers who come to class in Nigeria with laptops to teach and make a kind of graphic representation is very low compared to what we have in US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Yoruba language itself. How different is the structure of grammar in Yoruba in comparison with English?
It's different. Sometimes Yoruba language does not have to follow the normal syntactic structure of English language. Sometimes don't have the what do we call it now? The SPCA, the subject, predicate, object. We don't have that in. Actually, we have it, but it doesn't follow the order. So, like maybe in English language, you say, "I am going to school." In Yoruba language, you still say it the same way, but where the verb is in English language might not be where it will be in Yoruba language. So it doesn't follow the same order. Yeah, sometimes, not all the times. Yeah.
In English, for example, you always put the adjective before the noun. The black box, the white car. Is that the way you say it in Yoruba?
No, most times the adjective comes after the noun.
After the noun.
Yeah.
Which is similar to Spanish or Russian.
Yeah. Like when maybe in English you want to say 3 books. In Yoruba you say iwe meta, which iwe is book and meta is 3. So you see that the noun comes before before that. Yeah. That's it.
Are there people of Western tradition, Europeans for example, who go to Nigeria and are capable of learning Yoruba well?
Yeah, very well. I remember that in my school, University of Ibadan, where I did my master's program, there was this lady from Italy.
From where?
Italy.
Oh, Italy. Okay.
Yeah. So that she said something that I just saw her one day, and then she said, I greeted her, and then she said "Ekason," and then she said mo wá kọ́ èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá, meaning that I've come to learn the language and the culture of Yoruba. And then it calls for surprise because a white lady speaking Yoruba so fluently, and then we have a lot of students from European nations, from America, coming to Nigeria, the Department of Foreign Languages and Literature, and then they learn about the Yoruba language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe, among these students who you have now in your class, they may want to go to Nigeria sometime.
Yeah, I told them that already, that, well, you might want to come to Nigeria, and then I'll be glad to host you.
Okay. Well, you know that we have a number of those study abroad experiences here at the university.
Yes.
Last semester, last summer, we had people going to England, Ireland, Germany, Spain, Cuba, you name it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something you want to think about.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. There's a lady that came some time ago. She's from America here, and then she came to University of Ibadan for 9 months. I think she went through a basic study at University of Wisconsin, Madison, where she had a basic first fundamental stage of the Yoruba language, and then she came for another 9 months program at the University of Ibadan, and it's all over the YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't really remember her original name, but then when she came to Nigeria, she was given another name, Titilayo.
Okay.
So we Nigerianized her. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Okay. I understand Nigeria is a very a populous country,
Yeah, very popular.
and it's a oil producing country.
Country, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, and I have heard that because of that, is among the sub-Saharan countries in Africa, one of the ones that have a better living standards.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for people who want to go to Nigeria, you recommend a particular time of the year to visit there, a particular places to visit? What would you tell people who want to go to Nigeria, where and when to go?
Well, Nigeria is good at all seasons because there's something I discovered about Americans since I came around, that they love the summer more than the winter.
Yeah.
So a lot of them want to sunpan. They want to just feel the sun. So and then in Nigeria we don't have snow. We don't have the harsh weather. So they can just visit Nigeria any moment of the year. And I can also say that every part of the country is good to stay. Yeah.
Now, but you do have a rainy season versus
We have the rainy season and we have the dry season, but we don't have the spring, we don't have the winter. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
How big is the colony of Nigerians in the United States?
Yeah, we have a lot of Nigerians in the United States. I think we have most of them residents in Texas. Yeah, we have a lot of them in Texas, and we also have a lot of them in Madison.
Okay, I understand that in the 70s there was some kind of big migration from Nigeria to this country.
And there is still, even up to now, people are still migrating into the United States. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, in the minute or so that we have left, I wanted to ask you, what do you expect to take back to Nigeria from this American experience?
Oh, I really wish to see my students speak at least, if not excellently, a good level of Yoruba sentences, and then be able to have, a very good idea of what Yoruba culture is all about. But coming into the program is all about getting fulfilled, about the Fulbright program. I came because of Fulbright program, not because of personal reasons. And so the most advantage for me, by the time I'll be returning to Nigeria, the most benefit I would have gotten from this program is that the students enjoyed my classes and then they wish to re-enroll if they have the opportunity to do it next.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, thank you again to Professor Ololade Afolabi of Nigeria, who were talking about the Yoruba culture and language, and was a very interesting conversation. So thank you very much for coming to Segway. And next week, we're going to have Dr. Connie Frey Spurlock of the Department of Sociology and Criminal Justice at SIUE, who will be talking about sustainability on campus. So stay tuned.
This has been Segway with Dean Aldemaro Romero, a production of the Department of Mass Communications at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. All rights reserved, 2013.